Welcome to our inaugural episode and podcast of Headliners Hawaii. I'm Dina Hollyfield.
And I'm Romeo Valentine, and today we have a very special guest. This guy plays Moni in the movie Moana 2. Hualālai Chung is in the building.
We are so excited, and you guys can join us too. We're going into the historic Hawaii Theater. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the greatest podcast on earth. We're here in the Hawaii Theater. Welcome to Headliners Hawaii.
I'm Dina Hollyfield.
And I'm Romeo Valentine, and today we have a very, very special guest, man. This guy is a big movie star now, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, Hualālai Chung.
Woo!
What's up, big dog?
What's up?
Welcome, Hualālai. Now, I think I just butchered your name, but I'm from Kaneohe. You're from Kaneohe. Tell us a little bit about the name. The name is going to trip us all up.
Yeah.
Help us.
So Hualālai, full transparency.
Okay.
The world now knows me as Hualālai, but that was only up to like 6 months ago.
Really?
I've
But is
been
that
raised-
really your name then?
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay.
That I was raised being called Keenan, so that's my first name.
Keenan.
The most Hawaiian name that you guys have ever
I was
heard in
gonna
your
say.
life, Keenan.
Who named you
Keenan?
Keenan?
My dad. So, like I my full name is Keenan Edward Hualālai Chung. The name Keenan comes from my dad was an actor.
Yeah.
And Keenan Wynn and Keenan Ivory Wayans are two of his most favorite actors.
yeah.
My younger brother's name is Landon, named after Michael Landon. So like he always wanted to like pour his passion of acting into us in that way, and I think it paid off a little bit, you know. Edward was actually my grandfather's
Twilight?
name.
Oh.
Yeah. Edward was his favorite character in Twilight. Edward was my grandfather's name, who passed a few months before I was born. So of course he wanted to pour that spirit into me. And then Hualālai was a name that prior to me being born, my mom basically lived with and helped take care of my great grandmother, my
Aw.
tutunui, and she remembers having this epiphany one night that she was holding this baby and got the opportunity to name the baby and named him Hualālai.
Wow.
And so our whole family was fighting to have the firstborn child, which is a scary thought. You know, was fighting to have
It
this.
sounds kind of
first-
wild to think about
Yeah.
what was going on
That's
in
a
these
different
moments.
kind of competition
how are you guys
that I've
fighting?
ever
Like,
been to.
You guys was
what was the
fighting?
detail of this competition?
How big was the house?
yeah. So like, they'd have this competition, or like everybody was kind of fighting and vying to have the firstborn great grandchild so that they could name him Hualālai, and
So lovely.
we came out on top.
Well, you were at Hawaii Theater, historic Hawaii Theater. Nobody better than from your roots in Kaneohe, and now you're a big, Disney star. And we're going to just talk about your journey. So I can barely say his name, Hualālai.
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 You gotta
Hualālai.
put some bass in it. You know what I mean?
Hualālai.
Hualālai.
Okay.
Say from the heart, the fatu.
So, knowing my butchering talents, tell us the worst butchering of your name to date.
Oh, there's been a few. There's been a few.
We'll be here for a minute.
There was one that I had done abroad on one of our press tours, and they just kept adding L's where there were no L's. It was as if like all the L's were like on sale that day. They were just it was like a buy one get like 10 free like sale or something. So it was just it started sounding like the chorus of like La Bamba or something like that.
What do you got?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
exactly.
Did you laugh? Did you correct them? I mean,
Oh
what do
yeah,
you do?
totally. And you know what? I get so honored and so like I just feel overjoyed that people try so hard
Yeah.
because it's a name that I want to bring to life. And I'm like, you know what? Hey, Ra, I appreciate you trying. You got it.
You know what? Because of your name, more and more people around the world are going to learn a new Hawaiian word because they know aloha, mahalo, ohana, and now hualālai.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the hope.
And there's going to be a lot of kids named that after you too. 'cause you're going to
yeah.
become such a star.
The Wayans brothers. So tell me about that, man. Are you a big fan of the Wayans? Because I mean, you're named after them.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we grew up watching religiously watching My Wife and Kids.
Ah,
And
oh my
then
gosh, I love that
I
show.
think it was in like season 8 or something. They had come to Hawaii and they had shot like their season opener at the
Oh,
Royal
cool.
Hawaiian Hotel, like a span across 2 episodes.
that episode.
And my dad was actually in those episodes
no
with a Moana 2 co-star of mine, Nicole Scherzinger, was actually in that episode as
Oh,
well.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, that was early on in her career. So to see like that, like blossom into everything that is now. It's kind of crazy.
Did you tell her the story that your dad and her were in the same?
Not yet. So I haven't had the opportunity to like meet her just yet.
Oh, she's fabulous.
She's out killing it on Broadway right
Yeah,
now,
she
so she
is.
wasn't able to come down for our premiere and whatnot. But yeah, no, I'm excited for the time. I'm trying to make a trip up there so I can go and watch Sunset Boulevard and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she's stunning. We're gonna try to have her on the show.
Yeah.
I know that you were like 3 years old, so you're like the Bruno Mars of fire dancing. He was Elvis, you're a fire dancer. Like I know your family is in entertainment business, so how did you just go, Dad, I want to be a fire dancer,
Well,
fire knife dancer?
Yeah.
Fire has one key.
Yeah, totally. yeah. That's the joke, right? Like everywhere in the world, you tell kids stay away from fire and stay away from knives, and over here we put them together and throw it at all the kids. But my parents were both longtime entertainers in Waikiki throughout multiple different production shows. So I grew up, running around all these different showrooms, running around Hawaii Theater, running around the Magic of Polynesia showroom, Don Ho showroom. My mom actually lived with Don Ho at one point in time, helping to take care of him and whatnot.
Oh,
So,
that is so cool.
Yeah. So I think it was like from a young age, like just kind of like seeing the dynamics of fire knife and whatnot. And there's a story I tell when, like from baby times, you don't really remember that much, but there's this one like picture perfect memory that I have of sitting on my mom's lap at the Sheraton Princess Kaiulani Hotel. My dad's on stage and introduces the fire knife dancer. And before the fire knife dancer goes out on stage, he comes over to us and wipes some of the black soot off the knife and gives me like little war paint. And I think it was like that. He Simba'd me.
He blew it into your
That's
your
so funny because
soul.
I just Simba'd a friend the other day.
That is so cool. So, I mean, but how does it work? It's like I took piano lessons when I was 3. I know when to sit to a piano and you do your fingers. Who goes, okay, today we're going to learn how to ...
Oh yeah, no, I think it's a lot of it was just like trial and error, like hiding in the back, like watching all the uncles like on stage, like practicing, and then begging my dad to like order a fire knife of my own from like one of the knife dancers, and then
cool.
you try, you add fire, you get burned, you cry, you never want to touch it again, and then you gain the courage again, you try, and just this whole cycle of just trial error. You get burned, you go to the hospital, you get hooked, so on and so forth.
Are you describing a relationship or? Wait, I got a lot.
Oh yeah, sorry, my PTSD was kicking in just now.
Oh man!
Unbelievable.
So, have you ever burned anything down? I mean, have you ever like tried to like accidentally burn
your
a house?
hair, because you got this gorgeous ponytail. Did you
Knock
catch
on
your
wood.
hair?
No,
on
I
fire?
haven't. Thank goodness. The worst of the worst has been that a fire knife has a hook on it on the end of the machete blade, and the hook has gone right through my hand, like while on
my
fire, like
God.
dangling.
And emergency stitches.
No, because that night my grandmother had told me before I went outside to practice, don't get hurt because I'm not taking you to the hospital. Like that you're on your own.
Oh, no.
And I was too embarrassed that I got hurt that I'm just like inside the house. She's like, "Did you get hurt?" And I'm like, "No."
Well, unless you're from Hawaii, no one would ever understand what happened. Like, what? Why didn't she take you to the hospital?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Wait, that'd be
exactly.
from
No,
Hawaii.
if anything, you get spanked even more. You get slapped in the face even more. And it's just like,
Boy, I
making
told
me
you not to get
stressed. Show me the burn.
So you grew up in God's country. I think Kaneohe is God's country. And now, you're kind of getting back to your roots. Tell us about growing up in Kaneohe and the thing you loved the most about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, our whole family was always rooted in Kaneohe or Kailua.
Yeah.
We moved around a lot. We grew up, I've been blessed to grow up in Hawaii Kai and Kaimuki, Pololo.
Bro, you blessed.
So I mean, it was definitely, there was a lot of culture shift because you grew up in Hawaii Kai as like the lone Hawaiian in your school next to like Takashitas and Morrisons and Thompsons and everything, and you're just like, well, you guys want to eat poi? Like, what is going on? Okay, also like getting into Kamehameha and moving back to Kaneohe and being rooted back where all of our family was is always like something that was such a heartwarming experience, for me. Like especially to this day and age, like my grandmother lives one way, my dad lives one way, my mom lives one way. And then waking up every morning, like being able to look at the ko'olaus, and the stress of everything that we got going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What grade
healing.
were you when you got into Kamehameha schools?
My freshman year in high school.
Oh, so you had a whole nother life before you got in.
Yeah, but luckily through like, things like extracurriculars, like I played football a lot growing up. So like all my closest friends from football and from my football team were all Kamehameha students. And every year for summer school, we'd go to Kamehameha School Summer School and Performing Arts Academy over there.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like where it felt a lot more like at home. So when finally getting in, I was like, all right, this is cool. Let's go mess stuff up.
Yeah. That's where you fell in love with the whole performing arts, the acting and all that.
Totally. I think, yeah.
Did you get into acting classes first, or you just was like, bro, Dad, I like do what you was doing?
So natural, which I feel like I can say with a lot of people down here, like storytelling and acting and whatnot is in our fiber, being in our culture here. And I've been saying a lot that like, whether it's through hula or whether it's in somebody's garage over a few beers, like, like we love to talk story and
There's
tell
never
stories.
a few.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we say a few. Yeah. A one and done is never a one and done.
No, not at all.
But, so it's like just growing up, being around my dad, being around my uncles, the charisma that they would all bring, kind of, I think really nurtured me because to be completely honest, I've never taken like really any acting classes.
Wow.
It wasn't until like post-COVID, I have a really good friend of mine, Tiana Tully, who's an amazing actress herself, who introduced me to a friend of hers who was a director of a short film here called Kahoe. And she kind of voluntold me for a role. I remember like she saying like, oh, my friend's doing this film, the short film. It's about night marchers and how it intertwines with like modern society and everything. And one of their actors just bailed. And I was like, oh, cool. And she's like, yeah. So I told them you would do it. Yeah, you start shooting at like 4 a.m. I'm like, oh,
wow.
All right. And like, well, let's do it. So, after that, like kind of fell in love with what film does and like how it makes people feel and what it represents in sharing our stories.
Yeah.
And after that, I'm really lucky that like for the last 10 years I was living with my grandmother, who we have such a big like family complex that my auntie actually lives with us as well, and she was being brought in to be co-director of Premier Models and Talent. Her name is Amber Stone. And so when I would come home, there would just be like sides and just materials like on my bed, like ready to like do an audition with a big Sharpie due date on it. And just like, just try it. I know you want to buy a place, so at the least side money to like try to, get
a spot
closer to that goal.
Yeah.
But you're in music too. You are really like, you're so multi-talented.
Oh,
You're,
you.
you love singing and you have a band and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
I heard he's a hip hop dancer.
Do you dance hip hop too?
He's gonna show us.
That's after the one drink. Yeah. No, music's been huge. My dad and his brother were big musicians throughout Waikiki at the time. And music and performing arts in general, but music has been such a big fiber of our family. Like we have family songs. My dad's side of the family comes from the Keawe lineage, which is like Joe Keawe, who wrote like a bunch of like really traditional, popular Hawaiian songs.
Yeah.
And I had like great inspirations growing up. It's funny that you brought up Bruno Mars, because Bruno was actually one of my uncle's students over at Roosevelt.
Yeah.
So like we grew
Wow.
up
I know that school.
going we grew up going to watch Bruno all the time when he was impersonating Michael Jackson at the Magic of Polynesia showroom, like late nights. And we actually have a guitar, like a Fender Telecaster, that was basically his at one point in time. So there were so many like different experiences and different opportunities to learn and kind of be like nurtured in the world of music.
Yeah.
That especially like today's day and age, like I feel like it's such a shame or it'd be such a waste not to like pursue it,
Yeah.
Like just might as well just fling whatever's out there. That's me. You guys like it? Right on. If not, still love you, bro.
I'm hungry, Romeo. Really hungry.
I know a spot.
Really?
A really good spot.
Okay.
I could taste it at the tip of my tongue.
What kind of food is it?
Domino's.
Oh.
Everybody loves Domino's.
I love Domino's. Carry out, take out, you name it. Delivery. I love pizza.
Yeah. And I order it from the app straight up.
Ooh.
It's easy. I'm like, I'm futuristic.
I don't have an app, but I need one really badly.
You can go online, Domino's.com.
Domino's.com.
Yeah.
I'm going to download it. Let's go get some pizza.
I'm ready. I'm gonna get a pizza and a sub. And oh my gosh, no, I'm gonna order this thing. It's like this bread, and you dip it, and it's so good. Super
All right,
good.
let's
Fine.
go.
Let's
So
go.
I have to ask too, because one of the things I first learned about when I moved to Hawaii is song contest.
Okay.
Kamehameha schools. Like, were you the director? Did you get the lead role, or were you like the team player?
So I, in high school, loved to be a jokester. And
I feel. Oh
and,
no.
was probably not on everybody's A-list as far as like faculty and staff was concerned. So I think it was in the most wise choices of Kamehameha schools to not put me in the front of any big large crowd. So yeah, no, I never was a director. I never tried. I mean, I think my head was in the clouds like half the time.
Yeah.
But song contest was always. I mean, I have so many Kamehameha graduates in my family, so being part of song contest is something that was such a bigger tradition than just Kamehameha's tradition. You know?
Did you guys take home any of the big awards in your 4 years?
I don't think so, which is something that I get reminded of every March, but I don't think so. I can't exactly remember our record, which is because I'm pretty certain the entire time the awards were going on, I was trying to like pull musubis out of my pants and eat behind the heads of somebody sitting in front of me that I wasn't even paying attention to anything that was going on.
And look at you now.
And look at us now.
Yeah.
Napoleon Dynamite pulled tots out of his pants. Hualālai pulls musubis.
Oh yeah, musubis, Snickers, they're all like saran wrap to your body. Like that's the.
Is that the secret intel?
Oh, that's the Kamehameha tradition.
Saran wrap, and that's where you hide your snacks?
Yeah.
Why, you
I feel
can't eat
this
snacks?
is riveting.
Can't take food in there. So to all of my Kamehameha students out there that are planning that, I'm really sorry for outing you guys. If they change the policies, like I'm sorry
it's
for
all
outing
your
you guys.
fault. It's Keenan's fault.
Yeah.
We're going to block every Kamehameha staff from watching this film. That's what we'll do, just so we can keep it. We don't want to snitch on everybody.
Yeah,
We already got
yeah.
Saran. If you hear the ch-ch-ch as they walk in, we already know what they got.
Yeah.
We
they
know where
got
to get the
goods.
snacks.
Yeah.
Going back to Bruno Mars real quick. Did you get to meet him? Have you had an experience outside of just seeing the show?
Yeah, I mean, so we met him when we were like really, really young, and I remember like seeing him take off, like, when I was in high school and seeing him grow and everything. And there was a time he wasn't at the height that he is now. I think he had come down here to do a show at like the Republic or something, and he was
did level 4.
Yes.
The very first one he did.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, that was the one.
Yeah, I was there.
And he was in the Zippy's, I think Zippy's King Street or Pi'ikoi in there.
Probably
And we had
Makiki.
just finished band practice for our reggae band back then. And I remember sitting in there and we were just kind of, holy moly, that's Bruno Mars. It was like, what? And he was just, so I went up to him and said hi. And the rest, I mean, he's off doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, bro.
Doing the
He's
amazingness,
crushing it.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Well, too, what's amazing. So you're reggae singer, fire knife dancer. Then you take a turn to voice acting. Like I think most people when they're younger in the arts, they're not, I'm going to be a voice actor. Like, how does that even work? I mean, the closest I think both you and I know is radio. Tell us about your journey.
So from the beginning, like I had mentioned, I was just kind of auditioning for everything and anything. I just figured, try whatever. So I'd done like local commercials, had done like local radio spots, had gotten to film on Lilo and Stitch live action and NCIS Hawaii and everything. But we got this set of audition materials that were completely unlabeled, unlisted. It didn't have any like recognizable character names. It had said that it was a Polynesian cultural project based out of an LA studio.
Wow.
And so, I didn't know at the height of what it was. So sent in the audition, we just figured, whatever. The phrase I try to live by since COVID was, don't give up any opportunities that's not yours to give up. So you have an audition.
Good. Say it again.
Do not give up any opportunity that's not yours to give up. So an audition, that's not your opportunity. The opportunity is the role. So don't bail on the audition. You haven't even been offered the role yet.
Yeah.
Then when you get offered, then you can really look at it and be like, yeah, I want to do it. Or it's not right for me, kind of thing. So was kind of going through this whole like rigmarole of just auditioning for all these things. And this one came up and, kind of same thing, just sent it in. And I think it was like 3-4 months later, I was in studio with Kit Ebersbach recording for the Department of Health.
I love Kit Ebersbach.
Yeah.
He's a jingle writer. I write
Yes.
jingles with him. Love him.
And I remember being in the session and my auntie agent, my momager, as we call her, right? She texts in capital letters, holy profanity. Call me right after this. I remember just being like all mind boggled, and Kit just being like, are you good? And I'm just like, yeah, no, we're good. And calling right after. And she plays this voicemail from the Walt Disney Animation Studio.
Oh my God.
And we
Did you cry?
freaked. Oh yeah. Like my mind was blown. I remember sitting in my car being on FaceTime with my grandmother's phone so that my auntie could play the voicemail. And you know, like I grew up such a big Disney kid. Like, I mean, I think a lot of people
Everybody
do.
did,
Oh yeah.
You know, so and
I just got chicken skin.
yeah, and culture is like my everything. Like I remember walking down the streets of Main Street and just thinking like, man, if there's ever an opportunity to pair like my love for our culture with what Disney does, oh, that would be, I don't even know. Like I don't even know what to do with life after that, which has been my biggest question now, you know?
Now what?
Exactly. So, I mean, you know, we did a meet and greet, to which I was newer to acting, so I didn't know what a meet and greet was. I knew what
that's
an
so funny.
audition, callback, second callback, test shot,
I
whatever.
don't even know what a meet and greet is.
I don't even. Yeah, exactly.
What
So
is that?
Simply put, I asked the casting director. I'm like, so what is a meet and greet? And she's like, simply put, it's a meet and greet. They just want to meet you. I'm like, do I have to perform anything? She's like, nope.
They just want to say hi?
Basically.
Wow.
So we jump on this Zoom, and in the nervous anxiety rush of everything,
Yeah.
I didn't even bother looking up any of the names of any of the people that I'm meeting with, which probably proved to be better.
Yeah.
And you know, I jump on, the whole team is sitting there in this nice like Disney art everywhere office,
Oh
and
my
I can see it
God.
in the background, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, who are these people? Like, and they basically say like, hey, so we're a team from Walt Disney Animation, and we have a project that we're working on, and actually, before we get into that, tell us about yourself. I'm like, okay, well, my name is
Keenan.
Edward Hualālai Chung. Like I'm from Kaneohe, Hawaii. I love to sing, dance, like tell stories, whatever. And when I'm not doing any of those things, I'm probably out on my Boston Whaler boat in the middle of Kaneohe Bay, stuck because my motor decides not to work half the time. And they all start laughing. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, I was just stuck out there like this morning, like Coast Guard had to tow me in. Like, it's not enjoyable. Like, and
That
they're
was
all
your
still
meet
laughing.
and greet?
Exactly. And it was, you know, later I found out Dave Derrick was our director, and he's just like, you literally just described the character that we're looking at for you, and we didn't even tell you what the project was. So they furthermore, you know, they go into like telling me that it's for Moana and everything, and who Moni is as a character, and his personality, and how it kind of aligns with me, all the way down to like the hair, right? And then I get off the call. I don't know what to do with myself, and I go straight to my laptop and I open up IMDb and start looking up all these people. I look up Yvette Marino, who won multiple awards for Encanto. I look up Jared Bush, who's the creator of Zootopia, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just said some of the stupidest stuff in front of all of them.
It might be better that you didn't look them up beforehand.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So after that, I mean, the rest is history. I mean, you know, just working on the film, like I got to do a bunch of it here out of Island Sound Studios in Hawaii Kai.
Oh, great.
So like, you know, the remote experience was awesome. The cool thing, you know, a lot of people think like animated movies are they animate everything and then we come in and fill.
And voice
But
it.
it's actually
The
backwards.
opposite. Because they have to
Completely
do the
backwards.
facial
Yeah.
expressions and draw them.
Totally. So every session will have at least one, but potentially two cameras set up like at different angles.
Yeah.
And they basically ask us to act out every scene as if
Yeah.
it's a live action. So it gets a little difficult here and there, you know, trying to like, you know, connect your mind to story because you have no environment, you have no other actors
Other
to play
people
off
to
of,
pull from.
you know, and quite frankly, a lot of the times we're going line by line. So you'll have a whole sequence of conversation, but you go line by line and you do each line 20 different ways so that they can bank up all these different styles. So when the animation comes, then they can, you know, kind of pick and choose on how to build everything.
So do you call your own mistakes or do you just keep doing the 20? Like, how do you control your nervousness and like wanting to do the best?
I mean, I think the cool thing was that our directors and a lot of our crew like really instilled that, you know, like I was the character and that, you know, like the character is going to be how you are the character. You know, like
that's so
we have our
comforting.
vision and we have what we wrote, but at the end of the day, we give it to you and you take it from there. So if I had like major flubs, like major like speed bumps in what I was saying, simply just stop, move back, go back again.
Yeah.
But they were really open to the idea of like saying things this way, ad-libbing here. And then most of the times, after we'd get the main 15, 20, then they'd be like, okay, now do it just 10 ways that you just want to.
Wow.
Like just for fun.
That's so
You know?
fun.
Yeah, totally. So it was a really nurturing, expressive experience to like try to like explore where your mind goes with a lot of different things and a lot of different personalities that you wouldn't be, in normal life, So, yeah. And then being able to see the film come out, you sit there and you watch and you're like, oh, they went with that one.
Yeah.
That's way funnier than I thought, like all that kind of stuff.
You know what they say? They say when you make a film, you watch it differently.
Yeah.
You don't watch it like how everybody else will see it.
Totally.
You're like it's a different whole outtake, and you're probably looking at yourself like, oh, I could have said that better, or I could have did this.
Yeah.
But you're probably like, nah, we nailed it.
No, I mean I've watched the film, probably about 12 times thus far,
Oh, wow.
like in the different theaters. My mom keeps volunteering me to go and watch it with all of her friends' kids and stuff. Oh yeah, no, I invited all my coworkers and I told them bring their grandkids and that Moni's gonna sit and watch it with them.
Oh my
So-
gosh, that's greatness.
What a blessing.
Yeah, no, totally, right? So I've watched it, about 10 or 12 times, but I gotta say my most memorable and most enjoyable time watching it was at a rap party up at the in the Dolby. In LA, and it was because we were surrounded by all of the people that worked on it.
That's so awesome.
You had so many people just awe-inspired by what was coming out, and just the energy in that theater. Like everybody's hard work was poured into this film. Especially what was so like heartwarming for me was being able to watch the film depict so many different cultural phenomenon of us Polynesians and Pacific Islanders, and knowing that probably less than 5% of the people in that room were Pacific Islanders.
Wow.
So to feel and like understand that these people wanted to put us up on a pedestal or display us so vibrantly like that, oh my gosh, that's so emotional,
Yeah, your pride just oozes out of you. I notice I'm a pretty demonstrative person, but sitting with you, I notice I'm just like, I'm so inspired by just the movement that you have. Have you always been like that too? Like you're so animated and
No, I'm just
Did that
scarred
just-
by the scene in Talladega Nights where Will Ferrell doesn't know what to do with his hands.
Hands.
So I've done so much practice over the course of the last year of like how to do all these types of things because I don't want to be that guy that's like, so what do I do with my hands? What do I do?
ASMR video.
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I also wanted to, we all that are trying to inspire everyone that listens and watches our podcast. We want to inspire, what to do next. I mean, just listening to everybody's stories and your success, I call it the dominoes effect. Like, right? You got this one thing and then it hit the next thing and then it hit the next thing and then it hit the next thing. What was your first domino effect?
Who? That's so hard to say. I mean, I think in recent history, probably that very first filming of that film Kahoe, it was my first experience, in film to that degree. Being on a set, on part of a production that had such a vast crew of talented people, pouring in their knowledge, their spirits to like make something of that sort. And then being able to watch it in the aftermath and seeing like, oh, what this storyline represents to us, but also what it shows to everybody in the world and how people can palette who different communities are, different cultures are, so on and so forth. So I think that was something that really like kind of set off set a spark in my brain that I wanted to do something like that, and I'm so grateful for Tiana and Mitchell for giving me like that opportunity, because I mean, frankly, without them, like, I mean, that really wouldn't have like created the drive in me to do so. I think it's so hard to pinpoint like one of those momentous domino effects, because my parents were amazing in always trying to create those opportunities for us as kids,
Oh, that's awesome.
My dad was the type that I didn't learn guitar or how to really play music until I was in high school.
Oh, wow.
But he would always have instruments. He always had a piano out. He always had a guitar out, an ukulele out. He wouldn't care if I got into, my first instrument I got into was drumming. So he wouldn't care if I was banging on everything. And he just really had this mentality that like, no, like it's in your time. Your passion will spark at some point, and I just want to make sure you have the tools and the resources to pursue it. Same thing with my mom. Like they worked so hard, and I think especially being, I'm 30 years old now, so being in adult life, being in adult life and looking back at my childhood, realizing like, man, we didn't live the most glamorous life. Like we didn't come from the most, but that didn't keep my parents from trying to give us
they
the
gave
most.
you so many opportunities.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, fast forwarding all that to today, like getting to sit, walk the blue carpet, as we called it, at the world premiere of Moana 2, which in my mind is like the biggest Disney movie this year. And be able to like share space with people like Dwayne Johnson and Auli'i and Temuera Morrison and all these people, and knowing that I got my mom and dad sitting there right next to me, my mom, my dad, my second mom, my auntie, my nana, my brother. Oh, it was crazy. And I want to keep the mentality that it's just beginning as far as a growth perspective, that like you'll always grow, always keep going. So that domino will always keep falling in one way or another, regardless of what that opportunity is. Yeah. And, excited for what's to come.
Now that you've got that role and you're probably making good money now, how many people have asked you for some?
Well, I'm definitely
Does that mean that's what you're going to ask for next?
Well, I'm definitely picking up the secret spot tab a bit more often now.
My God.
Than a couple than before. But like I'm really blessed to have grown into what I am now, and I'm all about sharing that with everybody. So in any which way that I can, that's the goal.
Yeah. So you're not afraid of going broke after you share too much?
No, because then I'll be the guy that's like asking my friend, like, bro, give me my dollar back.
That's Hawaiian style, man.
Exactly.
You can borrow dollar.
Yeah, no shame, Brad. No shame
You
whatsoever.
can borrow dollar and not give it back.
So you were talking about Dwayne and The Rock. So we're gonna move into our fire and ice.
Oh, yeah.
So you pick which one and you tell us why.
Okay.
So I'll lead with how you set us up. So Dwayne Johnson or Jason Momoa?
Oh.
Yeah, you.
You gotta choose one.
That's so hard.
There's no right answer for this.
Come
one.
on.
There's no right answer for this. I'm gonna hate myself regardless. I'm gonna say, and this is no shade to the DJ, but I'm gonna say Jason, because all of our uhi and our tattoos, we come from the same paw.
Nice.
So we both come from the same paw, from the same lineage. So it's awesome to be able to share our koko like that.
That is awesome.
It's the tattoos.
He reminds me of you. You guys are similar. You're so outgoing and so giving
And
to so many people, and nice hair. Yeah, very much. Okay.
Okay, next one. Poi or poke?
Oh, guys, come on. Poi, because it is the root of our Hawaiian culture. It's kalo. Yeah.
Okay. Spam musubi or malasadas?
So I did a Buzzfeed video that got a lot of credit, and it's because I chose because of this very explanation. And if you guys look up that video, you guys will see my entire explanation there as well. But I'm going to give it to you guys here right now.
Yes.
A musubi is comprised of spam, nori, and rice. So you got all your major food groups. You got your protein, you got your veggie, and you got your starch. So that's a full meal.
Let's go.
So spam musubi.
Right on.
And it's only like $2 now at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Malasadas are like...
Oh, I don't know. The dozen is like $12. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
it definitely has gone up over the time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what about this? Moana's ocean powers or Maui's shape-shifting?
Maui's shape-shifting so I don't have to go to the gym and I can just shape-shift into looking like I do.
Do you go to the gym?
I go to the gym in my garage. Now that I have a garage and I don't have to like be self-conscious around all these big buff guys.
Do you do cardio and reps? What do you do?
Yeah, so a lot of what I'm doing now is cardio because I'm training for the Great Aloha Run.
Oh,
And
nice.
potentially the Maui Marathon,
Whoa.
but definitely the Run Disney Marathon in Disneyland during Halloween next year.
Yo.
Yeah, you can do a marathon through Disneyland.
I didn't know
Wow.
Yeah, as if just going to Disneyland is not a
But
marathon.
you're,
in
not
itself.
gonna, you're not gonna go through as a regular person
Yeah.
now. So I can see you coming in the Great Aloha Run, the big screen, and then everybody's like losing their mind because it's you. You should break
that's-
out the fire dancing.
That's the
right
hope,
there.
so that you kind of like dull all of them and numb all of them, so that I can get a huge head start, so I can feel like some of those like Nigerian, like African guys
Oh my
coming in
God.
first.
Yeah, they're gonna leave you behind.
They do this.
Yeah.
They do this, man. They
Smoke
train. They
you.
train forever for that.
Yeah. No, don't you think you should just like break out in fire dancing like at the end?
I will
You could.
try to.
That would go viral.
At the least, I should run it in a flapless malo. So
Okay,
at least
if
I'll be
you
blessing
do,
somebody
I
behind me.
would really like to attend. I don't care if it starts at 4 in the morning. I'm going now.
She'll be up at 3, getting ready, putting on an eyeliner.
Okay.
Perfect.
Country music or reggae music?
Ooh.
Country music.
For real?
Oh,
I thought you would have picked reggae.
love it.
Country music because the words of country music.
Okay.
Ooh, that stuff will burn into
Oh,
your
yeah.
heart.
What's
Oh
your
my
favorite
gosh.
country song?
Oh
Next
my-
thing you know.
I
Next-
love that song
So give us
Next
some
so
thing
much.
you know.
And you know,
Yeah,
I
I remember
Yeah.
how the
It's
whole
so
song
rude.
goes,
Yeah.
but like I cry every single time I listen
Okay,
to that song.
That's a
this
great
is a
song.
viral
Beautiful.
moment. And I know you love country music over reggae, and you sang reggae. Who's your favorite female country artist? You know, we had Carrie Underwood 2 sold-out shows this
Rest in
year
peace,
in
Shania Twain.
Hawaii, first ever.
I was gonna say probably Carrie Underwood.
Over Shania?
See, that's hard. Like I don't fall in love with the artist. I fall in love with like
The
the song,
music.
like the
Yeah,
lyrics and
yeah.
everything. So I mean, like you could be that drunk uncle at Hibiscus Lounge, like singing that country song.
In case you didn't know.
Yes, in case you didn't know, Hibiscus Lounge, like, get crazy. And I will sit there awe-inspired, like tearing up because of the words of a country
Oh
song.
my God.
Yeah.
You have moved to the top of my list.
Yeah.
Good
you know,
job.
You know who I really love right now is Jelly Roll.
Oh,
You're a
he's
Jelly Roll
so
man.
good.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is. Spend some time in prison. Then you're gonna make it. Not you though, by the way. We don't want that.
Guys
about
like
you.
us don't make it in prison. We're not meant for that life.
Yeah, we're too pretty.
Thanks, brother.
Definitely. Oh my God.
And scene.
We'll do that 20 more times.
All right, last one on my side is paddleboarding or surfing.
Surfing.
Mm.
Surfing.
Are you a big surfer?
I used to be. It would
Really?
get hurt and get in trouble a bit too many times. I'd go surfing where I shouldn't.
Yeah, your hands, they needed to be
Oh
insured.
yeah. No,
from fire
I
dancing.
was in high school and I was surfing at China Walls in Hawaii Kai and was just being reckless and got in trouble and got hurt and all kinds of stuff. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Your grandma gave you some licking.
Yeah. Busted a brand new board and it was like, yeah. After that, the heart was broken.
Have you ever caught fire?
Caught on fire?
On fire, some part of your body. Something happened when you were younger.
Thank goodness to the good Lord Almighty, I have not. But I experienced that of a friend of mine like 2 years ago. We were barbecuing at Sherwood's
Oh.
and we bought charcoal
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
that was not instant light.
Yeah.
And we had the grand idea to use fire knife gas.
Oh no.
And I'll just let your guys' imagination
Wow.
go.
Oh
from
my
there.
gosh. Did
Yeah.
you have to call
You ever
like
camping?
fire?
Oh
trucks
no,
and-
he's Samoan, so he walked it off. Like, it was nothing.
Oh, okay.
The funny, in retrospect, Wallen, bro, I'm so sorry I'm telling this story, but in retrospect, after this, I don't think anybody knows what to do in that instance, especially being at the beach.
Can't be prepared.
So we notice he's on fire because the cup of fuel caught on fire. He fell back. It fell on him. That's how everything happened. And he like falls back. And I basically turn it into like a puppy, like trying to like dig for something. And I'm like trying to scoop sand on him as if that's going to do anything. So we end up telling him, hey, run to the water, run to the water. And he takes off running to the water. And the funniest moment about this whole day was in the midst, I mean, as soon as he takes off running, all the flames are out. But he's running, sees the shoreline as its like most peaking point, dives in the water and doesn't realize that that's just shore break.
Oh, no.
Shore falls out and just splats right on the
Right in the-
shore.
Oh,
We're like,
good.
oh, snap. Love you, bro.
Yeah, he's not gonna be happy with you right now.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name and his Instagram so we can find him? We're gonna DM him. Brother, I heard about you 2 years ago. You fell.
yeah.
Hope you're enjoying the podcast. I'm Dina Holyfield.
Romeo Valentine, the host of Headliners Hawaii, and Dita, this place is amazing. I can't believe we're in the Hawaii Theater.
I got chicken skin just thinking about it. There's so many great shows,
Yes.
so many things to do here all year round at Hawaii Theater. We want you to come out and enjoy what we get to do all the time.
Yes, and you're not going to miss out, okay? So don't have FOMO. Get over to the Hawaii Theater, hawaiitheater.com. You got to get your tickets. Check out the calendar list throughout the year, every year, all the time. Now let's get back to the show.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing too, I always am curious of, what some of the odd jobs that people do, especially as artists like us.
Yeah.
What did you do, or where did you come from right before you got the Disney call? What was your job?
Yeah, I used to work for Bank of Hawaii.
What?
Yeah, I used
Were
to
you
work for
like
Bank of
in
Hawaii.
any of the print pictures and all that?
No.
Were you
I
a teller?
I started as a teller and was
Oh.
training
Shut
for like private banking and stuff. And
I
that
would
was
be like, I wouldn't be able to ask for my money. I'd be like,
Did you
That
see,
was-
you see people's bank accounts and all that?
how much
Yeah.
money they had in there. God, I'm so glad I didn't go and.
that was one of the things I took so much pride in working at Bank of Hawaii, because I worked in the Wailea Kahala branch, right, at Kahala
Oh
Mall.
wow!
And so, it's a very affluent
I was
community.
everybody
gonna
has money.
say.
Right. So we would see people come in, and there were always, elderly people. And I don't know if it's just like my charisma or the factor that if I don't know you, let out, I don't care about you.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to affect me.
Yeah.
But my managers would always be like, oh, this customer's coming in. Like, they're going to complain about this. And can you go deal with them? And it would always be like older ladies, like in their 80s, like coming in, like, how come my $2 didn't get deposited to my $5 million account? And I would just be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry about that. Hey, how's your day going? How's your grandkids? And they'd be like, oh, they're good.
Oh, that's
Just,
they started
put the
asking
fire out
for
like,
you.
right away.
Oh,
And then
that's
they go
great.
away, and I'm like,
What was
"Whew."
the biggest check that you ever gave you? Did you get some shockaroos? Here's a
Oh.
$2 million check. Put it in.
Oh, yeah. I
No
think it
way.
was right around there.
What?
Yeah.
It's for real?
Yeah, and of course, like, systematically, it doesn't work simply like that. Like, there's all kinds of stuff. But
To ask you to get in the side room.
yeah,
over there while we
exactly.
Cash this check. for
there would be
Give me your
people. We would
thumbprint.
get like the calls saying like, oh, so and so is gonna come in. They're gonna come and make their deposit. They have a big event going on for their cash for this event. Yeah, it's gonna be about, 400,000 in cash. And,
Jeez.
Wow. How do they walk out with it by themselves, or
Oh,
they have
I've-
people?
I would always choose not to look.
Yeah,
I'm like,
for
you know
sure.
what? Well, you got that right on, brother.
I always
Yeah.
wonder
Go
how
get
it
'em.
made
Yikes.
I always
Yeah.
wonder how it made a teller feel, because they're getting paid this
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
cashing this.
Yeah.
I think you should get a sponsorship. I'm just going to go there for you. Heard it
Free
on
money, yeah.
Headliners Hawaii.
Yeah.
Start doing
Bank
your
of Hawaii is
own
gonna call you
Bank
next.
of Hawaii commercial.
Yeah.
What was the worst job you ever had as a starving artist, or
Oh.
just getting started?
The worst job I ever had. I say this very lightly because it wasn't even that terrible of a job. But I used to work at TNC Surf in
Oh,
Windward
really?
Mall. So I used to work at
Oh,
TNC.
I like it there.
And it wasn't the worst for any other reason except for I just had the worst luck over there. I think we had to get rid of like 3 like sunglass and watch display cases because I would break the key in the keyhole. Like stuff like
So
that. And I
what
would
you're
just be like,
saying though is it wasn't the job.
no.
It was
It was just like my
you
bad
had
luck and like
bocce.
yes, 100%.
Can't even spell bocce.
Yeah, 100%. Like it was one of those where it's like in a 20-minute span, I'd have to refold the same shirt like 50 times.
It would
and I would
slide
be like,
off or
and I
they
just took that
touched
as my bad luck.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, why is everybody picking this one? Like, stop, Or I'd like do everybody's like skateboards and assemble everybody's skateboards and put the trucks on backwards or put the grip tape on. There'd be a huge air bubble right in the middle.
Oh
and
my
it'd be like,
God. They should have like your picture up there at TNC Surf from moving forward. Like the most famous teller, Bank of Hawaii, most famous TNC Surf employee.
I know,
for
man.
Sure.
We're gonna have everybody calling you after this. They're gonna be like, "Bro, he used to work
Hey,
here,
you
ba."
you want a new job?
Sorry, guys, you guys can't afford me now. Rates went up.
That's right. So moving on to wrapping this up, I think for us it's just, the future is bright for you. Exciting stuff. You want to share what your next dominoes effect is?
Oh, I mean, it's just music, like I've been going through so many different experiences and so many different I guess sensations this last like 2 years, like there's been so many emotional like ups and downs, of so many things, like feeling like, we got into this amazing project with Disney and Moana, and then the Screen Actors Guild strike happened. So then you saw
I
the
remember.
entire industry like
Highs
stand
and
still.
lows.
So there's so many different emotions that have come from all of that, and one of the main ways that I pour out those emotions is through music. So I'm super grateful to be working with amazing producers and writing songs into different genres.
Is it country music?
I do have a country song.
Yeah.
So I do have a country song. The
Oh my
first
God.
song that we worked on was actually this old school R&B song. That
I'm
will
about to say, you got
probably
some R&B?
be- Yeah, that will probably be like some like PJ Morton type of vibe,
Oh,
They'll be
nice.
releasing more so in like January. And I mean,
Are you going to play out in Hawaii? Can we come see you?
that's the hope. That's the dream.
Who's your favorite artist, man? Who's your favorite artist right now, and who was your artist that inspired you?
I think one of my favorite artists right now is Jesse Gold. He's a singer-songwriter out of California, and he just the way that he writes songs and the types of chords that he uses on a guitar is so storytelling in itself, and it's so much more complex that I love just like the mental boldness that he throws into his music. I also love, obviously I love Bruno because
Yeah,
music
who doesn't,
is
though?
music in itself is an experience, so it's not simply words with music, it's an experience that people will have when they listen to it, and then even more so when they watch you live. And he is one of the most iconic performers of all time, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You think of somebody like people like Michael Jackson, like
Yep.
Prince, Usher.
Bruno's up there.
Bruno's up there.
Bruno's there.
And I gotta say, there is somebody that I've watched perform here, and it doesn't matter if it's a huge venue, a small venue. It doesn't matter if it's a family-oriented event or if it's a big concert. But Johnny Sweet has.
I knew you were going to
thinking
say
his-
that.
he was on my
knew
mind when you were
going
describing
to
it.
say that.
Johnny Sweet has that same energy, and I've known him, for some time,
Yeah.
and getting to watch him like as of late, like in this new light, in this new fire being burned like through him, and this new
Yeah.
drive that he has going on, like. And the fact that he puts on an experience, he
Yeah.
makes sure he has, that money is not as much of an option, that it's like, or not as much of a stipulation, that he wants 2 keyboard players, he's gonna have 2 keyboard players. He wants a sax player, he wants 2 guitarists, you're gonna have that. And have 3 backup singers so that they can
Yes.
have their stage choreo, so that they can put on this entire
They
experience for
all
people.
choreograph,
It's
even the guitar
crazy.
player and stuff. It's
Yeah.
so good.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I
So-
can see you like that.
Yeah. So watching him like that, I'm like, all right, that's hard
I can
right
see
there.
you doing some songwriting sessions too, though, because you're such a dynamic storyteller. You
thank
tell the story, the songs you wrote, and like I think you got to do some of that too, not just
Yeah.
the showman stuff, because
Yeah.
you're so engaging.
Totally. That's the hope is to, all in all, the hope is to do whatever with whatever God has blessed me with to open doors and create more scene for our people. Whoever that is, community could be people of the Pacific, community could be people I went to school with, people that I'm sharing space with right here and right now. I'm nothing without the people around me. So it's only fitting that you do everything for the boldness and for the grandeur of spreading that amongst everybody.
Yeah. You know what somebody told me before? If you ever want to get into acting, don't do it for the money, because. And I think a lot of people have that perception, right? That, these actors are, but until you really land something great, you really got to love it for the art. And I think that's music, obviously, as well.
Yeah, totally. You invest so much into these arts long before you ever hit off.
Yeah.
You invest so much into music production. You invest so much into rehearsal space, into coaching, acting coaching, into realistically for a lot of actors who are really striving for things, they don't want to hold a job. You know, they don't want to hold a long-term job because it creates a bind on them that they cannot go out on a whim and pursue these amazing opportunities. So you give up and you put in so much of your life and heart into these things that when it finally comes true, like, own it, you know, own it, experience it, like savor in all of it, and then share it, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you
It's
so
so
much.
exciting. I feel so inspired today from you and just the excitement and passion that you bring. And I know that I'll be at the Windward Mall one day and I'm going to see you and I'm going to know who you are.
H&T Burger, just walk by there, you'll see me.
Ready. I am ready. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being with us here at
Yeah,
Headliners Hawaii. It's been an honor. Is there any parting words you want to send out to everyone listening?
Oh, no ka lahui. Do it for the lahui. Whatever you do with your heart, for the lahui, and everybody will follow. Yeah.
God bless you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Well, I'm Dita Hollyfield.
Romeo Valentine, and big ups to our guest right here, Hualālai Chung.